Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back. If you watched the first tools video, this is kind of the second of the two-part tool series, if you want to call it that. In the first video, I talked about like some browser-related tools and the websites I check out. And then in this video right now, I'm going to talk about the spreadsheets. My process is very spreadsheet heavy, as you're going to see. I just finished the other one. I'm jumping right into it. If you don't have a beer ready, if you drink, I think you should grab one because you're probably going to need one to get through this video, especially if you're not in spreadsheets. Really, if you're not in spreadsheets, I don't know what the hell you're doing here. But if you're going to watch one of these two videos, I said it too late in the other video, but I'd encourage you to watch this video, if not the other one, because I'm in these spreadsheets so much, I will be during the stream, that it'd probably be really educational for you to just to understand what each of the spreadsheets do, what the tabs are. That way you just can follow what's going on. If you care, I mean, most of you won't care, and that's perfectly fine. But if you care, you probably want to have some sense of what the hell I'm doing. And so that's how this video can help. All right, so I use a ton of spreadsheets. I don't even know, 10, 15, 20, I don't even know how many. Most of them are support spreadsheets. They're supporting my process. I'd say there's like 3 or 4 primary spreadsheets or types of spreadsheets, and those are the ones I'm going to focus on here. Imagine if I was trying to show you all the spreadsheets. What would you do? You would have to take the day off from work. You'd have to, call in sick or something. You're welcome. You're welcome that I'm only going to show you the main ones, okay? So the 3, let's see if I can show you each one quickly without diving into each one. I'm secretly excited about this video because like I said in one of the videos, I'm a little bit embarrassed to do this. Like you're gonna see how lazy I am, and the hoops I'll jump through to save a couple of clicks. I hate scrolling. I hate clicking. I just want to be able to kick back and like do research, just chilling. Also, I wouldn't say. Well, we'll talk about how powerful these spreadsheets are after the fact. Like I don't consider them super powerful. They can just do a lot. That's all. But I try to build them out so that I don't have to do as much work, as you'll see. I don't know, it's hard to explain. But anyway, let me get into it. Let me stop wasting your time. We'll get into the spreadsheets. We'll start with the tracker spreadsheet here. You may have seen me mention that most of my process is just tracking stuff. And so I need a spreadsheet to facilitate that tracking. And that's what this one is. So there's a whole bunch of stuff in here. We'll spend most of our time, I think, in this spreadsheet. I also have another type of spreadsheet. There's like 6 or 7 of them. In fact, they fall under reports. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I got 6 of these types of spreadsheets where I analyze fundamentals. Okay, and that's what this spreadsheet is. And I'll show you this one. This is where I'm analyzing the business and historical profitability and trying to forecast in the future. Not discounted cash flow analysis. I'm not typing in variables or anything like that. I try to have all the formulas and everything do it for me. I don't have estimated values. I could do that where I put together some formulas that forecast what the value could be. I just don't feel like it. It doesn't matter. And then there's the universe spreadsheet. And the universe spreadsheet, a little bit less exciting. It's kind of like maintenance stuff, but this is where the universe of stocks live, where if I were to take notes on a company, it would happen here, and I submit it to my DB and take notes on it. And so what did I show you here? Just the universe and stuff in the DB. So you know what? Let me just start with this spreadsheet. I think that makes the most sense. And they're all connected. They're all connected in weird ways, you'll see. But we'll just start with this spreadsheet. And all right, so let's start with. This is the universe of stocks. These are all the stocks that I track. Let's see how many there are. Command down. 34, 23. So I say 3,500. I don't know. Sometimes I could have sworn it was more than that. It used to be like 2,500. I started with like the Russell 3000. I don't know. I'm all over the place. Now whenever I come across a new stock, I add it to the list. It doesn't happen often, but I'm excited. I'm excited when I come across a new one. And what I've noticed too, this list started a long time ago, but so many tickers fall off and get added on because of like mergers and acquisitions and stuff, and they get bought out. And like if you're doing it manually, like you need to do a lot of cleanup stuff. And so anyway, the number of companies is always changing. But Anyway, so this is the universe of stocks, but the universe of stocks is based on this database of stocks, the DB. And now you should see more than 3423. You see 3443. I've made some modifications recently to streamline the process a little bit. And so when I make a change to a stock on the submit tab, which I'll show you in just a couple minutes, it gets submitted to this DB tab. And the way it works is like it gets submitted along with a date, like the date that I'm making the submission. And then what happens is what gets pulled into the universe tab is it's the latest iteration of a particular company note, right? So that's why I have to have a date in there, not time. Usually, I don't think I'm going to make more than one submission per day. I'd just come to the DB and edit it there. So that's why you're always going to have fewer in the universe, because it's only taking the latest version, and there's going to be duplicates here as I make more and more edits. And then some things I'll be tracking are, I'll get into it in the submit tab, but database. And so the way this should work, like this is what I've worked with some serious developers in the past, like legitimate badass programmers. They've like each written like millions of lines of codes, and they like they'll look at this stuff and I know they would. I haven't showed them my spreadsheets, but they'd be like, "What the hell are you doing?" That's what they'd say, because this can be done so much more simply in a program. And so in spreadsheets, some of you may look at this and be like, "Oh yeah, it's kind of advanced, right?" But like in my mind, I think of these two guys in particular who are looking at this. They'd be like, "All right, yeah, that's pretty basic stuff." And anyway, what I'm doing here could just be done so much more simply and efficiently elsewhere. But this is how I do it in the spreadsheets, and for me, it's really helpful. And and hopefully you might be able to do this similar stuff if you care. I like to think if you're watching this video, you care, but I don't know. So that's the DB tab. Okay, so let's go to the submit tab. And the submit tab is where I'll submit to the database. So let's say, first of all, anything below this black line right here, row 22, is being automatically populated. The tickers you see here are pulled in from one of the other spreadsheets, either the tracker spreadsheet or no, just the tracker spreadsheet. These all come from the tracker spreadsheet. This should be 40. I think I'm tracking 40. You'll see that number 40 a couple times. It's arbitrary, but I thought 40. I won't get into it. So these get automatically filled. I'm so lazy. I'm not going to type in if I'm tracking a company and it's a big daily move or something, I'm not going to go type it into my fundamental report and to search out the fundamentals and then go type into my submit tab how I want to submit. Like, yeah, I could, and for one company, not a big deal. But when you start getting into like trying to do it all the time, it pisses me off how much time it wastes. So I built out these are ridiculous. They get more ridiculous than this, if you can believe that shit. So anyway, I'm just always trying to streamline stuff. And so these all get automatically populated above the black line. These are ad hoc stuff. So if I come across a new ticker elsewhere, I'll come to here just to make sure. I'll type it in. Anything that's in a blue box, it just means that the user can edit it, me. And then just to see if it's in the universe, and I'll check, and then stuff will pop up if it is, and then I can submit. So the way I submit is I type in this. Well, I won't do it for new. These were new tickers. I forget how I came across them. Oftentimes it's via insider buying, via Open Insider. It's great. So let's take COP, for example. These tickers are arbitrary. I checked off a whole bunch in the tracker spreadsheet just to populate some stuff. So COP, and you see it got put in there, and then it pulls in from my universe all the latest stuff. And so some stuff that I'm looking at, I mean, you see name, sector, industry, sub-industry, business, and then price, market cap, right? But value, sometimes, like I used to try to value every single company I have, and that's really good. I should keep on doing that, but maybe I've mentioned this elsewhere, but value, it matters less than I thought it did. And then sometimes I'll value stock, and I look like an idiot like a month later, like it just happened a couple of months ago, where I just valued a whole bunch, and I'm like, man, what am I doing? And so, I mean, I feel like I can value stocks pretty well, but sometimes I look like a fool in not too much later. So anyway, I'm less diligent about valuing stocks. I should be better about it. I want to be better about it for the streams, just so you can see me value stocks, and it's good for a reference point. And then in addition to valuing the stock, I used to do value ranges. That's how you should view it. Like, yeah, well, to forget the precision. Hopefully, like it's not about precision. and you're not trying to be like super accurate with the value. You just want to be in the ballpark. I used to do ranges, low value and high value. It's just not worth the time. It doesn't matter. I just need a ballpark estimate. So just one input for value, and then for confidence, this might be more important than value. I'm not even sure. Like I'll try to assign a confidence score. I was doing 1 to 4, and then what I learned a couple months ago is that 1 to 4 wasn't granular enough, so I bumped it up to 1 to 6. Maybe it should be more than that. If you start getting, I've thought it unnecessary, like too much about this. If you start getting like to go up to 10 or something, that's too much, because then like you want each increment to matter, but you don't want it to be so tight that it's like a 2 and a 3 are pretty close. Anyway, I landed on 6. I just changed that recently. We'll see if that works. So 6 means I'm like super confident in the stock. It's hard to get a 6, but it happens. And then 1 means bankruptcy. It doesn't mean I won't deal in it. Usually I won't, but if you're a 1, 1's real bad. Like you don't see me pick 1 too much. Usually it's 2. And then blah blah blah. Ownership. If I pull up the proxy or the whale wisdom and I take a look, if I take the time to do it, I'll want to mark it here. It's super helpful for screening purpose during crunch time. But otherwise I'll just say I don't know. Like I'm submitting it, but I didn't check it. I don't know. And here, so this is because I submitted it in a different video. So let me just delete that, because I'm going to show you that in just a second. This cool tags tab, cool tags column, and then I have a track column. I just track just means I track all the stocks, but I can also do, so I just say yes or no for track. But if I add it to a watch list, there's a lot of companies in that. That's like, I don't know, 500. I have no idea. I lose track, but 500 is way less than 3,500. So watch list is like some of the top stocks that I might be watched. 500 is a lot, but I started to track stocks for so long that I really have internalized their value, and I know when they're trading cheaply. It's weird, but so being in the watch list is good if it's good for my tracking purpose, because it means I'm looking at you a lot. On deck means like you didn't quite make the watch list. Is that what that means? I kind of forget. There's so many, you're going to see me say this over and over again in this video. I forget. I think on deck means you didn't make the watch list, as in like I would want to invest in you, but like you're on the cusp. I didn't know how to classify all these watch lists. It means like I want you to be on the watch list. Like I want to track you, but I just don't know that I'll be invested in you. So that's the on deck watch list. And then pulse, you'll see this in the tracker spreadsheet. That just means like if I think you should be part of the particular watch list called pulse, where it's helpful to take the pulse of the market. Usually big huge companies that if you want to just take a pulse of the economy and everything, you'll check those out. Those aren't usually, sometimes they are ones I invest in, but not usually. And then the date, and then this gets auto populated. And then let's take COP. This is the example I was going to do. If we say I forget COP. I don't know, 65 for the value. I don't remember. Confidence. Now, that's the thing. So confidence score should really be assigned not just at the company level, but at the sub-industry level, at the industry level, at the sector level. And so COP, like it's going to be that's the thing. I don't assign scores to the sectors and industries. I should. It's just time. And but internally, I know oil and gas company. And so you're not going to get a 6 if you're in a volatile industry, because I can never be a 6 level of confidence. But COP is huge. They're a survivor, and if oil and gas, I mean, they're a survivor in oil and gas. I mean, like they're going to last for a while. I just know that off the top of my head. Well, was it $47 billion? Yeah, that doesn't mean the stock's a good investment. I'm not saying that. I just mean as relative to the other players in the industry, they're 5. Relative to them, they're probably a 6, really, right? But this is what I mean. It gets difficult to try to assign confidence scores unless you're doing everything. So I'll just say 5. This is just an example. Who cares? What does it matter? All right, ownership, I don't know. Tags, I'll come to that at the end. Track, I'd say yes, watch, blah, 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 and that's it. All right, so I want to show tags now, because this is my laziness at its best. So when I'm kicking back, I'm like leaning back in my chair, I got my beer, just tracking. And I think I said this in the other video. I'm not always like tracking stocks and stuff. I'm just like chilling, just trying to follow what's happening. Maybe late at night, I don't know. But so I don't want to have to go up here and type stuff. I don't have to type in a ticker. I don't have to pull up another spreadsheet. I just want everything ready for me. And so tags is a good example. I was getting tired of typing the same shit over and over again. So I wanted a script that would just like automatically paste stuff. You could use drop downs, but drop downs get unwieldy. I mean, you see me use a whole bunch of drop downs here. So this is a cool what is this, a script that I found, and I was complimenting. I think this was either on Google Form. I think it was Google Forms, not Stack Overflow. It doesn't matter. Both are great. But watch this. If I go to Roaring Kitty, so you like that Roaring Kitty thing up there? It's just it. Most of that Roaring Kitty thing I just put in there for view. But if this actually does something, shows sidebar. So check this out. All right, so watch this. So this right. So if I don't feel like typing stuff in, I'll just activate the cell, click in the cell, and let's say I'm analyzing COP and I'm clicking around, looking at a whole bunch of stuff, and I want to make a note of certain things, like things that caught my eye, or why I even added the stock in the first place. Why am I looking at it? And it's just helpful during crunch time. A lot of the stuff you're going to see during this video is like stuff. It all serves a purpose. Some of those purposes are much more impactful than others. But this type of thing is helpful. This type of thing is helpful for like an screen. It's like a reminder, like, what was it? Why did I care about this stock? What was it that caught my attention? It's just a reminder for myself. And I mean, you have data to help you too, right? Like I have insider buying data. But I don't know, just a note that I added is more meaningful if I added it. It means something to me. So COP, let's say, all right, so bad example. I'm not going to deal in COP, and usually it's more helpful for small companies. But you know what's caught my attention with the insiders owned over 20%. The insiders were buying, and it was the CEO who was buying. Maybe there's a PE firm getting involved, and all right, and then there's some managers who are involved. So like Abrams, he was dealing in it. Okay, you're going to see individual investors here too. Like I said, I'm an unabashed follower of individual analysts and funds, and if you're not doing that, you should be following other people too. If only for screening. I don't follow anyone blindly, nor should you. You shouldn't follow me blindly. I make a ton of mistakes, but if you know who commented on it or wrote an article on it or had an opinion on it or were bullish on it or bearish on it, it's helpful for you during crunch time. I can't stress enough that you're like looking at so many things in such a short period of time. It's so helpful to see and to know what other attributes there are. And so you'll see some people on here. Not everyone on here is like people I agree with a lot, but like it's if they talked about it one time or if they invested in it, it's good for me to make note of it. So like Abrams, I don't even know. There's just so many. You can see a ton of people. You may even see yourself. If you're watching this video, you may see yourself listed here. And there's people missing too. I just added as I come across it or I forget stuff. This was like I was tracking so many people, right? And then once I found this sidebar, then I had to go back and add lots of people. So I'm probably missing some stuff. I'm getting kind of like some passive. All right, so who else? It doesn't matter. So, all right, Toll. All right, we'll do Toll. What am I doing? I'm just doing it. Mike Dow. He's a macro guy. I respect him as a macro guy. Sometimes he posts some stocks, some individual stock picks, and I think they're somewhat good. What am I? I just pick some, and then go down to like country. If they deal in a country, if they're based in a country, or most of their revenues are in a country, I might mark that here. Like if you get 80% of your revenues in like Russia or something. That's something noteworthy, right? Characteristics. If this isn't robust, this needs to be rounded out a bit more. And but just some examples. Like, is this a turnaround? Is it a spinoff? Is it leveraged? Is it a biotech? Like, there's times a couple months ago where I'm just like, I want more biotechs in here, just because maybe they got beaten down and they didn't deserve to, because their success has nothing to do or very little to do with what was happening in the economy. So I wanted to deal in that. And so it's good to just tag some of these. The industry and sub-industry don't always do a great job of it. So it's sometimes good to add your own tags. And I need to add more of those. Like I said, it's a new feature. These are some of the more common ones. And you're not even going to see, we're going to be doing this as part of the stream where I'll be tagging stuff. And yeah, so did I click a whole bunch? I'll click bio too. It doesn't matter. Fill active cell, and then I click fill active cell. Boom. Then it's in there, huh? Isn't that great? So it's so dumb. And then so now it's in there, and I just and I scroll over. Well, I got to scroll because this is open. But I don't like scrolling, so let me just X out, and I click submit. Now watch this. Boom. And now it should submit it over, and then clear out the submit, and then it should clear out that whole blue row. That part, the script takes a little bit of time to run. So let's go check on the DB. We should see COP down at the bottom. There it is with our, what did we say? Insider ownership. Yep, those are the people we added. Yes. And there you go. So there it is, right? And there's another COP up top, or a couple. Probably just one. and it will take the latest one because, like I said, the date was that June 23rd. Yeah, and then it will be in the universe too. In fact, let's go check that. I haven't. If I do, it's going to be embarrassing if it don't work. Oh, okay. So this is going to take. So it didn't work, right? it takes a little bit of time because it's doing a filter. Watch this. Is that up top? There it is. Check out this filter. This filter's ridiculous. What's wrong with me? Look at this. I don't even want to tell you what I had to do to figure that one out. There was the forums, people trying to help me, and someone posted something. I don't even know. But so it's looking to DB and it's pulling in the columns, and I don't even remember what it means. I don't remember what it means. No idea. It just works. At this point, it works. So like a lot of things, I'll take the time to learn how to do it, and then I forget how to do it, and then if I have to fix it, which sometimes happens, sadly, it doesn't happen much. It happens when I'm first working on something new, but fortunately, this has been working for at least a couple weeks now, and so I haven't had to dig back in. But like that's an example of what's wrong with me right there. That's what that is. So anyway, it takes a little bit of time for that formula to work out, and then COP will update in the universe, and then the universe is what's get pulled into the other spreadsheets. All right, so I think that spreadsheet, I mentioned this is ad hoc stuff, and also if I toss in ad hoc tickers here, like if I come across a new ticker and I type it in here, at the same time I probably want to be analyzing its fundamentals. So when I type in above the black line, it will send it to the universe fundamentals spreadsheet, which I don't have open, but is it? There it is, company via universe. So those stuff above the black line gets sent there. Oh man, it's so embarrassing. All right, so that's the universe. All right, I'm not gonna look at the time. I can't. If you made it this far, we're in this together at this point. All right, so now we're getting into the fundamentals spreadsheet, and so all right, so there's a lot going on here, but as you know, maybe you know, I'm a value investor. It was the first step of my development as a value investor, like a value zealot, right? And this is one of the first spreadsheets I built out because I'm trying to analyze fundamentals, right? And so this is a bit outdated. It's evolved over the years, right? But it's not as flashy. There's not as many scripts. It's like not as powerful. Not powerful. Powerful is not the right word because I feel like my developer friends are rolling their eyes at me. But it doesn't have as many new features as some of the other spreadsheets. So it really is due for a refresher. But it gets the job done because at the same time as the other spreadsheets have like evolved, like value and importance has gone down. But it gets the job done. And so. So right now I need to make some changes. So in the stream, I just had to rebuild these spreadsheets for you because I had to zoom in. I'm going to mention this, especially in the tracker sheet, but usually I don't like scrolling and stuff. So I want everything condensed and I want to see everything in one single view. And so, but I had to zoom in because I was testing out the stream and like you couldn't see the spreadsheet. And if you can't see the spreadsheet, the entire Roaring Kitty channel is pointless. So I had to zoom in so you could see the spreadsheet. And when I did that, then I got to scroll more because I'm zoomed in. So one thing I didn't want to have to scroll for was the fundamental spreadsheet. So one thing I got to do is I click up like this. And so now, is that everything? Oh, and then I got to get rid of the formula bar. I'm just going to do this here so you're going to know. Let me get rid of formula bar. And then I'm going to get rid of this. All right, and now I can see all the most important things in one view without scrolling. If I click around the different tabs and stuff. Now, there's more to this spreadsheet. If I scroll down, if I move over, there's like individual years and stuff. But usually you'll see here, I'm mostly just looking at like 3-year average on a lot of things. I'm really just trying to understand the trend. And so I can do most of my fundamental analysis here, for better or worse. I know a lot of people dig in real deep, and this is why, from a credit analysis standpoint, I could probably be better. But it's just good enough. Really, you just need things to be good enough as long as the framework itself is built out. Hopefully I mentioned that framework use in another video. Because there's so many other moving parts, each individual part matters just a little bit less, and yet at the same time they're all super critical. I don't know. All right, so in this view, let me just show you this fundamental view. It's the same on you're going to see. First of all, there's 10 tabs down below. Well, there's a R0, R0. R0 is always an ad hoc tab because no matter what tab I'm in, I always want to be able to at least have a tab where I can type in a ticker. And then 1 through 10, Those are pulled in. So the name of this spreadsheet is RK Company One Via Tracker. And check out all these company reports at the top here. So I'll show you the checklists in the tracker, but when I check off a company and tracker that I want to dig deeper into, it gets sent to one of the it gets sent to one of these 4 reports. Oh, jeez. And then they're all right here. That's what this far left these far left columns are. And this is a new feature, and you probably think it's silly, but I think it's awesome. And it should be even simpler than this. Like, that I even need to open up other spreadsheets is, in my opinion, unacceptable. But I'm at my limits. This is all I got. And so the bold ones here, these are all in this spreadsheet. And if I click one of these, watch this. It brings me to that tab. I don't want to have to go. I'm not going to go to another tab and type in the ticker. If I already have if I know I can call the data. Oh, if I know I can call the data, then I just want it there. I just want to open up the tab and just kick back, perform my research, and just have it be there. It's not always like this, right? So let me go back to this one. Had some more color. I'm big on conditional formatting, in case you couldn't tell. I think COP there too. Could look at COP. There's more color here. But see, it's just such a big company. There's like some of the numbers overlap, and I'm not. See, I had to scrunch this down. Look at this. You can't even see all the numbers. It doesn't. I'm usually not looking at companies that big. So let's go back to DMA. So I'm big on conditional formatting all over the place. Just like charts and benefits of charts is you can just look at something and know so quickly what it's trying to tell you. Same thing with conditional formatting. Like, if I just pull up a company and I see the colors, I have an idea as to what's going on with the company. That's not enough to make a decision, right? But right away, and most of the companies I'm pulling in, it's like red everywhere. It's like bleeding to death. So, especially for the more recent years. So, big on conditional formatting. I love that shit. And then, all right, so left-hand side, those are all the tickers that are, if they're not in this report, then if I click on the ticker, it opens up the other spreadsheet, which is kind of a drag because it takes a little bit of time to open the spreadsheet. This should all be in one program. That's how it should be. And if I click a ticker, it just opens up and so forth. And really, I had to go to the universe file to update, to submit a value. If I want to update a value, I do it there. But really how it should work is all throughout. It's like when you click on a ticker, no matter where you are or no matter what you're doing, it should open a dialog and you can edit it wherever you are, right? That's how it should work. But I can't do it in spreadsheets. I'm at my limits. So, all right, so that's that. And then these 2 columns, just like high-level stuff, name, and I'm not looking at this. I'm not looking at these 2 columns. I know what the price is by the time I'm here, market cap. Maybe not market cap. That's good to have there. This is all insider buying stuff. I usually probably already know that stuff by the time I get here, but still I want it all in one view. Here's some multiples. You're going to see I'm not big into multiples. I mean, I use multiples, but like people, it's just frustrating because when people think value investing, they think, oh, it must be trading at a cheap multiple. And there's a lot of overlap. When we look at the Roaring Kitty portfolio, the model portfolio, you'll see there's a lot of the common metrics you'd see there. But the problem is it's just, you can't just see a metric and think that, oh, that's a value stock. Anyway, I'm going off on a tangent, but these are more for you, these metrics. But the conditional formatting is helpful. So if I may look at this and something catches my eye, I'm like, all right, I want to dig deeper in that. And then, those aren't working. Here's the thing, though. These are working. Watch this. Like, the number's there. So sometimes Google Sheets acting funny. I don't know why it's not showing up. Sometimes if it's like a max or a standard deviation or something, sometimes it acts weird like that. I've tried to troubleshoot it. I can't figure it out. I bet if I applied some more functions to it sounds weird, but I bet it work. I'm not going to do it now. And then you can't see, check this. So in OBS, watch this. If I do this, you can't see those links behind me. All right, now you can see. All right, you can see my links. See the links, just some common things that I'm checking. I'm probably not accessing them from this view, but they're there. Again, I just want everything there just in case. So that's that. And then we have here, all right, so here's the historical fundamentals, 20-year data. You know what? I should have mentioned this in the other video, and I apologize to these folks. Number one is I should have mentioned that. I'm getting my data from Quandl. I'm getting my data from Sharadar or Sharadar. I forget. I don't know how to pronounce it. Individual investor. You don't know how to pronounce company. Did I mention this in the other video? I forget. I don't even know how to pronounce a lot of this stuff. I think it's Sharadar, like a radar type thing. And he's a good guy. He interacts with his user base and he takes feedback. Thank you for taking some of my feedback. But I love when I'll connect with people who've built a tool and they work with me or hear me out, and it's just always great. So ShareRadar and Sharadar, sorry, his name's Vince of ShareRadar, and I get it via Quandle. Quandle's great. It's kind of streamlined. It's a data aggregator of sorts, so you can subscribe to Quandle, and then you can get access to all these different data sets. There's a ton out there. They've evolved over the years. They're kind of getting more into, what is it? Weird data. I forget the alternative data sets. Weird data. But great for me. Quandle subscription, then I connect to this, and ShareRadar's been building out their stuff. I've been fortunate. I've been growing with it. And so, yeah, it's been great. So I can get, I've started with very basic data sets, and now I'm very fortunate that I can pay for, I think I have 20 years now. I'm thankful that I can afford that, but I know you might not be able to afford that. If you're a new investor, that's okay. You can keep on learning and gaining experience. And then as you evolve and you develop, it's important to keep on developing over time. So as your situation changes and your style changes, hopefully you'll be able to afford it in the future. Maybe you might not even need it. I have 20 years. Do I need it? Maybe I only need 10 years. 5 years might be tough. I think 5 years might be, I don't know. I forget the pricing thing, but I use 20 years. That's what I have right now. And then another tool is that there's a tool called Flex.io, new company, Flex.io. Let me mention this too. Hopefully this goes without saying. I should mention in the description too. No one's paying me for these reference. What's the word? Hat tips to these folks. No one knows who I am. I'm a nobody, and I'm not getting paid to mention them. I'm just so thankful to all these people who built these tools. And I feel obligated to share them with you, even if you don't use them. I don't care. It doesn't matter. I hope I hope you do. If you do, let me know, because I'll be excited that you used a tip that I gave. But I just feel like how would you ever hear about? Well, maybe you know about ShareRadar. If you're a fundamental investor, you know. But how would you never Flex.io? This is a new company, but they connected with Quandle in a way that allows me to bring in more fundamental data more easily in spreadsheets. And it's such an obscure tool. And I only came across it a couple months ago. And now I can get more broad financial metrics into my tracker sheet, which I'll show you. And it's super cool. So most of you will not need that tool, I don't think, but check it out, because they work with me. I love that they work with me too. I gave some feedback and tested some stuff, and they make some changes for me. Thank you. And so I hope I think that's everything in this spreadsheet. Yeah, the data and Flex.io. Okay. All right, so I'm getting 20 years data. I'm using conditional formatting. I can't get into I should really have a separate video for the intricacies of what I'm looking at, but all these I can't get into the accounting metrics during this video. You see a couple of charts here: left-hand side of the balance sheet, right-hand side of the balance sheet. Just a quick check on things. What the balance sheet looks like. Usually, it's going to be pretty similar within an industry, but still helpful to look at. Seeing leverage and stuff. There's a lot of overlap between all this stuff, so I may see something in the data that's reflected elsewhere. And what else? I'm big on okay, so here's some of the top things. I'm slicing and dicing the data a whole bunch of ways. There's even more financial metric type stuff, and but the things I'm looking at the most often, I now know about myself. I'm looking at revenues, revenue trends, sheer level of revenues. I'm looking at gross margin, net margin, trends in sheer level of them. I'm looking at net earnings, common earnings. I'm looking at operating cash flow, net cash flow, and then simple free cash flow, just some accounting measures. They're all free cash flow measures. I'm looking at operating cash flow, CapEx, total net cash flow, operating minus investing cash flow, and those are the big, cash flow. Who cares? The pictures don't matter. And then I'm looking at the share count, big on the share count. So you see with GME, huge share repurchases past year, earnings, net cash flow. I'm looking at, and it's important. You can't just look at, man, I see some people perform fundamental analysis. I feel like they're probably just newbie investors, but I don't understand how you perform fundamental investors, pulling up Yahoo Finance and looking at aggregate values or 1 year, 2 years. I can't even do it. If you do it and you're a successful investor, props to you, because I can't even imagine doing that. I need to look at it on a per share basis usually, and I need to look at averages over time. I mean, I even take 7-year averages in full. I think I still have them. I used to take like the full 20-year average and divide it by share count. I think I have that, but I had to remove it for the sake of these videos. I don't lean on it that much. Oh, EBITDA. I look at EBITDA too. That's a form of a cash flow measure, I guess. And then, book. I mean, all balance sheet stuff. I can't believe that's the number one, balance sheet stuff, right? I start with the balance sheet. I could probably just invest based on the balance sheet. Everything else is just a nice to have, like book value and tangible book value. I know people say they're meaningless these days. Probably some truth to that, but still super helpful. I can't even balance so much balance sheet stuff. The only other thing so this is worth its own spreadsheet. Like, you don't even know what book measured ROE stuff. That's like how book value is growing on, I can't get into it. Sorry. Ask me about it later. All right. So the only other thing here is one more. This is kind of a cool feature that I have. So sometimes I'll be looking at a company. It's super leveraged. It's so leveraged. It screws up everything. Like, I can't even value it. Like, the share count is not even reasonable, because if they were to actually be, it's just so leveraged that it really messes with my valuation technique. So what I try to do is this silly model over here is that I pick a couple of key financial metrics. I think there's only 3 that I'm focused. You'll see a couple here. There's more that I look at, but like interest coverage using operating cash flow plus interest, market cap to EV, net common overhang to assets, operating cash flow 3-year average to net common overhang. And you don't even know what net common overhang. Do I have it defined somewhere? Oh, I do. So I included some definitions for you. I did this a while ago. So that's long-term liabilities plus short-term debt minus. Oh, I got a whole bunch of them. You see that column? Wherever there's a black triangle in the top right corner, that means there's a definition there for you. I'm not going to go through them now, but and then Z double prime score, I have a definition for that in the tracker spreadsheet. And what it does is it tries to just very quickly, using basic metrics, assess whether the company is levered or not. And what's kind of getting screwed up is because of the way they're handling operating leases now. And this is, in my opinion, an issue with the share radar data, is that like the operating leases are handled as debt. And I've heard the arguments, I get it, but like I don't think it should be handled as debt, so it kind of messes with these metrics a little bit. But anyway, if the company is classified as leveraged, there's a little calculator that down here that goes, okay, well, it's leveraged. If we were going to try to unlever it to a point, in this case, I'm trying to unlever it to get it to 20%. Where operating cash flow, 3-year operating cash flow as a percent of net common overhang is 20%. I want you to issue shares at a 20% discount to the prevailing price. Issue enough shares to get us down to that point. This is absurd. Oh, I need a drink. So it just tries to, this is just a long, meandering way of saying, I just try to standardize the balance sheet. I try to normalize the balance sheet, so that it's a little bit less leveraged, so I can more consistently average the company, more consistently average companies across the board. It's not a science. It's far from it. But it's a reminder for me, hey, heads up, this company's super levered. If you're looking at per share metrics, they have a really small share count, but it should be inflated a bit, because they're in trouble. And this is why the metrics are so simplistic. You got to be careful using basic financial metrics. So anyway, that's kind of a cool thing. I'm not changing stuff too much, but I'm leaning on it. So that's all right. So you know that. And so it's just the same. This is the same spreadsheet over and over again, no matter which, if I if I click on another, it's just the same stuff over and over again. And it's the same thing if I go to, and then I have this same report as an ad hoc report of 10. And so but if I have an ad hoc and I have a list of tickers I want to look up for whatever reason, I'm not going to go into each tab and type in the ticker. No way. So I can just type in the tickers here in this tab right here, just a list of tickers, and it will automatically get sent to the other 10. Or I always have the R naught, the R0, and I could just type that in there. But let's see. All right, this game's up again. Okay, so that's that. And then I showed you universe. So that's that report. Now we get into the tracker view, huh? Who's still with me? All right, so the tracker view. Where to begin? We're going to start with the dash tab. This is like a dashboard of sorts. And it's like a macro dashboard, right? If you were to create a dashboard, like what are the stuff you'd want to see in one single view? So it sucks is that, remember how I said I zoomed in? I used to be able to see all six, there's like six main columns in one view, but now I can only see a couple. That's okay. It's worth it for you, right? And so just some things, I'm not gonna lie, I'm not like pouring over these things so much. We're not gonna be in this section of the dashboard too much during the stream. It's just it's good to have, like, if a lot of things are moving in a particular day, you can see what's moving. I got debt, currencies, some regional action, high-level industries, high-level indices, excuse me, and then below sectors, commodities, industry, style, and then some risk aspects. The risk one's kind of cool. Like sometimes I'll just have some oddball companies in there, like how I assess risk. They're not like leading indicators. I definitely wouldn't say that, but they're, because I've been tracking so many things for so long, it's like if I know where a particular company or an industry is trading at, like I kind of have a sense of where the market might be at. So like it's like home builders and commodity companies. Rare earths are kind of a funny one. Let's take a look at that chart. What's that chart look like? Oh, now I don't want to get us. Yeah, so like rare earths, that's like, I consider that's pretty speculative. And I got like Bitcoin and blockchain stuff in here, marijuana stocks, like these, like good biotech stocks. Like these are things that are really difficult to value, and they should sell off during risk-off environments. That's my opinion. This isn't a back-tested opinion, but so it's something I keep my eye on. Momentum stock, Hussman. So if he starts outperforming, then we're at the inflection point. Let me tell you that. So I'm not knocking you, Hussman. I'm not, but and then all right. So yeah, I don't. So let me just show you a couple aspects of this. So let's pull up. Let's take industries as an example. So right, so industries. So in this column right here, A to Z, I have everything's hyperlinked. So if I click this one, this retail, it's going to pull up a whole bunch of it's going to pull up those chart lists I showed you, I think, in the other video. Boom. I'm going to see this is just ETFs. I'm sorry. This is just ETFs. So there's the retail ETF 10-year monthly. So you see at the top, 10-year monthly. That's what that is. And then if you go to price, that's going to be, I think that's weekly, 3-year weekly. Oh, this is daily. Oh, so I do daily and monthly. Okay. But I'll do, if I go up to the top here and go to industries, here is where I would have, this is probably 5-year weekly. Yeah. Okay. Here is, now I can scroll through that whole column and look at all the charts for each of them on a 5-year weekly basis. And so that's what I'm doing most often. I do that more than I'm tracking individual price movements. Individual price movements don't matter too much. So then I'll do like relative performance between the two. And I'm not like live or die by these things, right? It's just something I do. And I don't know how much it matters. I feel like as years pass and I reflect, I'm like, you know what? That didn't help me too much. That's how you should view everything that I do. Me testing stuff out and trying to integrate new tools and trying to, yeah. But I like this. I like that I can just pull up everything and look at everything at the same time and scroll through. I think it's sick. Nerd alert. And anything else in this view? I guess that's it. All right. So in the far left column, and you're gonna see this little roaring kitty thing. First of all, it's a roaring kitty, right? That's it's cool. But these are scripts. I don't know if you knew this, but if you import an image to Google Sheets, you can assign a script to it. Watch this. If I right click on it and click on these ellipses there, I can assign a script to it. And so these are scripts, and I don't often have to run them because I have a whole bunch of scripts running in the background that like do everything automatically. But sometimes I want to update something manually, and so I'll click the roaring kitty and it will update. Silly, but effective. And so this is the only other thing to show off in this dash is on the left column is just, this is how I don't like scrolling. Like I don't want to have to scroll. In fact, I don't even want to scroll. Like I'll just click on industries, right? I just want to click a button, bring me over here, and now I can see everything else. All right, so the next up, I'll click Roaring Kitty Portfolio. All right, so now here's this is the Roaring Kitty Portfolio. Sorry, I had sorted this differently. Let's sort this by. We should sort this by too. All right, let me just tell you, Roaring Kitty Portfolio. If you're seeing this, these aren't like hot stock tips or anything like that. You really need to understand a number of things. The first is this isn't up to date. I need to manually update this because I can't connect brokerage accounts to the spreadsheet. It sucks. And I'm not gonna. So I download the holdings from the brokerage house, and then I Fortunately, I just copy and paste the CSV to a spreadsheet, and then everything else updates and everything gets pulled around. That's all I got to do. That's the extent of it. But as you see me with shortcuts and stuff, even that's annoying to me. But so I forget the last time I did it. This is this is in the vicinity of accurate, but not totally up to date. So that's number one. Number two is you can't look at this. There's so much new. I hopefully mentioned this in another video. There is so much nuance going on here. And if you're an experienced investor, you already know this. But you can't look at this and think, Trinseo, I don't know how to pronounce. Is that it? Trinseo? I don't know. Individual investor stuff. You can't think that that's my top best pick, right? It's high up there, but it's not necessarily my top pick. But like, some stocks might be up here because I have a high conviction in them. Some of them might already be doubles or triples. Like OVV it turned out to be a great pick for me. And a big part of that was insider buying, which we'll get to. But like, it's already up like, I don't even know, 4x, 5x, something crazy. And so that's why that's up there. It wasn't up there initially, but so they move up. And then some stocks I've added or some I've taken down. And then some might be approaching fair value and they're still up here, and so it wouldn't be a good idea to buy them. I'm just like slowly averaging out of them. You got to average in and average out. I feel like that's a must. And because it happened and moved so quickly, maybe I haven't averaged out of it enough yet because I haven't had time to act. So you need to understand so much nuance. And then the final thing is like, just because these are in the model portfolio, these do not mean these are good picks for you. I'm gonna disclaimer the shit out of Roaring Kitty because I really care. If you've watched the videos about my style, what I'm going for, it's really aggressive, and I take on a substantial amount of risk. And what I do might not be suitable for many of you, or most of you, or even all of you. So you need to bear that in mind. The goal of the channel is to just show you some things that I do and glean what you want to build out your own process. But you cannot blindly just buy these stocks. Please don't. Instead, ask me maybe what it is that I like about them or what's intriguing about them. But these are not recommendations. Please understand that. Okay, so with that out of the way, these are the Roaring Kitty model portfolio. What's great is that I think I mentioned this, is that traditionally I've run a pretty concentrated portfolio, like 15, 20, 25 stocks, something real tight. But this year it ballooned like crazy because of the nature of the market, and I don't even know. What am I up to? These should be numbered. I should know. I should be able to command down and see. I think it's like, I could look at the row. I think it's like 150, 160, 170, something like that. Some of them are real small positions, like 5 shares, because I've sold out of them, but I still wanted to watch them. And anyway, it's perfect for this stream because you get to see a whole bunch of the stocks that I bought. But I don't know if that's permanent. It's probably for the foreseeable future because there's still quite a bit of uncertainty going on for me. And just for now, but I'm always trying new things. There's some things I like about having so many stocks. Like, it's true if you're invested in it, you're just watching it more closely. It's so true. And plus, it sucks because if I want to see what's moving in a day, I can log into the brokerage account and sort by daily percent change. And obviously, there's so much limited data there. But like, that's what I do. And if the stock isn't in the portfolio, then I'm not seeing what it's doing in that same day. See, this is a drag of not having everything connected, which is totally solved by a larger platform where everything's connected. But it's just, most of the stuff out there sucks. It's as simple as that. And so that's just one drag, is that this isn't perfectly in sync with the brokerage account. But anyway, that's a benefit of having so many positions. But on the other hand, it just gets so unwieldy. Any individual investor out there, experienced individual investor, knows that it gets unwieldy when you start getting to this level. That's why it's a part of the reason so many people have a concentrated portfolio. There's plenty of other reasons. But I don't know. Right now, it's working. It's worked out well right now, and so it's great for the stream. So these aren't secret. Hopefully, that's clear. These aren't secret positions or anything like that. I'll scroll down a little bit. You can see some. Pause the video. I don't care. Just bear in mind everything I just told you. All right. So now some things I'll show you about this view, because we're going to see a whole bunch of views as we scroll to the right or click to the right, not scroll them. First is the checkbox here, and wait, first is this. So if I click the RK, see that you can't even tell they're hyperlinks. That's on purpose because I get tired of looking at hyperlinks. If I click on RK port and I open this up, this is going to be all the charts of all the companies that are in the Roaring Kitty portfolio. So you see NGD here. So this is a manual process I need to update. Oh, and you saw in the other video, like you saw NGD was my top position. It's still up there, I think. And if I'll explain myself, if I may, I don't need to. Do I need to defend my positions here? This is it's a super speculative company, and yet here it is top 5, which is really weird because. But gold's looking interesting, and NGD really speculative company to trying to turn around their business, and it's just a way that I feel if gold does take off, it should go up quite a bit. Not a recommendation, right? But anyway, that's why you started. It was like number 1 for a little bit. It doubled so quickly. That was what happened, and But anyway, yeah. So that's why this was a little bit out of date. So that I love pulling this up, scrolling through all the charts, boom, boom, boom. I also have bookmarks for it. This is why everything, you need to have access to everything so you can kick back and just click and move around, right? So I can also pull it up that way. So that's that. It's going to see a ton of links here. All right, so then the checkbox thing here. So if I check off, let's say, let's just check off TSC. If I check it off, first of all, this right here, it's black. Can you see that? It should turn to 28. If it's it did turn to 28, and then this turned up yellow. What this is telling me is that, hey, you have something checked off in this column, and this is telling me you're at 28 out of your 40. And when I check something off, it gets sent to send. It can send to here. It's to this tab. And what's this? This is look at this ridiculous. Look at this. What is this? Do you know? Do you know what this is? I don't know what this is, but I know what it does. It's pulling all those items that I checked off, and it's pulling them into this tab. Yeah, I don't know. Don't ask me, but it works, and it's pulling all those checked off items into this tab, and then it's sending them to the fundamental tab, fundamental spreadsheets. Anyway, so if that's what this 40 is, it's only send it over 40. So when I check that off, and now if I want to clear this out, so if I see I'm getting up to 40, or sometimes I just check it off, I'll just click this, and it should remove. It will remove the check mark, all the check marks in this column, and it should drop down to 27. It briefly jumped it to 29 because it counted that as a check mark. And boom, and there you go. So that's something so dumb, right? This is my laziness. It's a manifestation of my laziness. It's just, you gotta, during crunch time, everything needs to be streamlined. You can't be wasting time pulling up stuff and typing in tickers. It's a waste of time. It really is. And this stuff, it's so nerdy and stuff, but it helps so much. And the me of 5 years ago is like super excited by this stuff. I could have only dreamed about this stuff. And how embarrassing is that? Who the hell dreams about spreadsheets? And anyway, that's this. You're going to see these checkbox items all throughout this spreadsheet. Then we have the portfolio percentage, and then all throughout. So you'll see like hidden hyperlinks. There's hyperlinks in here. If I pull this up, I want to pull up what's the news for this company. Like this is in Bloomberg. I'm sure you can just see the news for a company. I got to Google, and so I want that easily accessible. If I click sector, all right, I'm going to show you the sector tab now. I'll show you sector tab. Just 2 minutes, if you will. Industry is another tick. If I pull up industry, this is going to show me all the charts for the industry. Was it specialty chemicals? Oh, commodity chemicals. And then you go, and so I can see the charts not just for Trinseo, but for all the companies in there. That's sick. It's really helpful to, if you want to see how the other companies are performing in the industry, or looking for maybe I'm screening and looking for other companies and see how they're performing. You just want to see everything in the same view for a particular industry. So that's that. And then, okay, market cap, conditional formatting, all these are alerting me to what the rough most of my market caps, I would say, sweet spot maybe 100 to 700 million market cap right now. You got inflation to deal with over time. But I'll deal in as low as 20. Below 20, risk. So that's a risk I don't really like. But I'm not above it. I'm not above it. But I'll do the 20 to 100. I do. I definitely have a ton. There's probably some right here. Right there. 69 for was it Flowtech, FTK? Yeah. And then I'll deal in the big ones too. Look at this. OVV is a huge, this is the thing. Like, you cannot confine yourself to just small companies. OVV is is that right though? Sometimes Canadian market caps get wonky because of Google Finance. But no, that's accurate. Yeah, I thought that was accurate. Look at that, a huge company. It's up 5x or something like that, something absurd. And so you don't confine I would advise against confining yourself to a very small, tight market cap range. Be broad. Sometimes you want the bigger companies too. Like for risk reasons, bigger companies are more likely to survive. It's as simple as that. Yeah, so sweet spot, just a little bit of background. I probably should have mentioned that in another video, that small caps usually are the ones I'm focusing on. What's small cap? I know everyone has their own definition. Some people like small cap 3 billion and below. In that case, I'm straight small cap. I don't know what to tell you, but small cap for me is like below a billion, maybe below 500. I don't know. I'd say mostly I'm in like 50 million to 1.5 billion. This is roughly, let's take the average. Let's take the average of the, what's that, top 20? What's that? 1 billion. There you go. Okay. All right. So then price, and then that just pulls out the stock chart for the price, and then daily percent move, 6 month insiders, that number. So this is what I'm talking about. Open Insider, great, but I've pulled it into the spreadsheets. Thank you, Open Insider. You are terrific. Look at this. I can see how, look at OVV, 12 insider spot. 12 insider spot. In the past 6 months, 1.8, I think this is in millions. Is it millions? That can't be right. No, it's $1.8 million worth of shares. That is I could have had. I could have bought on that alone. I probably did. No, there's other things I liked about it. It used to be Encana, right? It's Encana, right? So I invested in Encana. Yeah, it was Encana. So I feel like I think that was. I figured this. I think people forgot that it was Encana. And not me though. I was tracking it, and it got sold off with everything else. It was way overdone. So I don't know why I'm focused on OV. I apologize, but it's just that number stood out to me. That 12, and we got 10 on M8 Mac, which is still early. I was trying to get into more. I don't usually deal on REITs, but I was trying to diversify my approach this time around. The market gave me a great opportunity to do that, and so that was one example. And Camping World, big win. Maybe I mentioned in another video. Me and Abrams were in this, and yeah, so insider buying, huge. Look at this. Yeah, there's just so many things there. So many insider buying. Like, you can very clearly tell I'm biased toward insider buying, right? As you go down, there's less, but the big ones, yeah. Okay, percent to value blend, percent to 52-week high, 52-week look like. All right, so the sad truth is, like, I'm valuing everything, right? And but like, I feel like most times percent to 52-week high and percent to 52-week low is really all you need. Because if you view value as like a screener of sorts, you probably just need 52-week high. Most times, I'm still valuing stuff, but like I was looking at 52-week high, 52-week low a couple months back because I wanted to see what was still bouncing off the low, what was still close to the low, what has fallen off the most, and those were adequate. I got to be honest with myself. Try to be objective. Percent to value blend. That's a blend. I don't even know what the blend is. It's like, if I say I valued TSC, let's say I valued like $50 or something, right? It would say take 80% of 50 and then take 20% of the 52-week high or 2-year high. I can't remember. Blend them together. That's the blended value. Because I mean, I think I'm good at valuing stocks, but I'm not that good. That I know I get stuff wrong. And same thing for the market. The market's pretty good at valuing stocks. Not all the time, right? Obviously, there's inefficiencies. That's why I do what I do. But it's pretty good. But at the same time, it messes up too. So I figure I blend the two together. Like price matters. This is why I'm willing to do some technical analysis. Like I don't discount it too much. What the price is and what the price was matters. And so I like to factor that in. So that's what that blend is. But look, I don't even have conditional formatting on it because I was just focused on 52-week high. But it's because I don't have enough values. I had valued all these companies, and then the problem as I develop and I get better about like valuing the companies, and then the market changes and reminds me that I'm an idiot. And then it's like, so all this happens. It happens so frequently where I'll develop, I get better, and the market's like, hey, you suck, and it reminds me, and then I'm like, just forget the values, and they fall off. Really, I should have values for every single company, but that's the benefit of working at a firm, right? Everyone can work on it at the same time, and you can build these out. But yeah. All right, so then I have revenues. This is huge. I love seeing revenues, just knowing that data point, what the revenues are. It's so great for just very quickly analyzing risk. All right, so now I have a whole bunch of these financial metrics. So let me just give you fair warning. You're going to see me make mistakes. I, as most of us did, was educated with P to E, P to B, P to price to sales, and so forth, like price in the numerator. That's what you learn. That's what I'm used to. And for years now, I mean, I know that the way to do this is to have price in the denominator. I know this. I just didn't feel like taking the time to make the leap. I finally made the leap, but I'm still new to it. You're going to see me make mistakes on this front. Like I'll be trying to sort by something, and I'll naturally want to do low to high. I'm like, all right, I got to do high to low. So, and I'm going to say price to book. I'm going to say it, but what I mean is the inverse. So just know that. So I here have it presented properly. And so it's great having all these. You're going to see similar views across different tabs. It's because during crunch time, you want to have everything visible at all times, no matter where you are. So that's why I want this stuff here, because when I'm looking at the portfolio, I want to be able to see all this stuff. And you'll see a whole bunch of things, net, retained earnings to market cap. That's a pretty good one. I don't know if anyone uses that. I like that. Revenues to debt, real simple stuff, nothing complex. Z prime score. I got a definition of that, another tab, I think. Leverage, Roaring Kitty leverage. That doesn't, it's just something that means something to me, but it's not necessarily robust. And then just some links. Actually, that should be hidden. Is it? No, that's okay. Oh, that's the business. Oh, I get the business here too. It's always good to have what the business is. Sometimes I forget. You start to internalize it. You track stuff so much, but you still want to have access to it. And then what else? So the other thing too, and this is cool, is that in this view, you've got to be able to sort. So usually I sort by portfolio percent, right? But I think this is what this first row is. It's all the column count. So I just want to be able to sort. We can screen. Let's screen right now. Let's get crazy with it. Don't wake my daughter up, because I'm doing this at nighttime. If you didn't see the other video, we got to be quiet about it. But let's get crazy. Let's sort by sales to price right now. We're gonna do what's that? 17. Boom. Is it sorted by the right way? Yes. Oh, because it's false just means descending in Google Sheets. And drop down, right? I'm not typing false. I'm not typing true. Nah, no way, kid. So there's sales to price. So right there. That's a nominal position, TLRD. I think they're toast. I think. You never know. But I think they're toast. And so that's the thing. I don't have cost basis or share count in here. I kind of forget off the top of my head. So some of these are just like 5 shareholdings. But I kept them in the portfolio because I still wanted to track them. And so I'm actually not even sure. But here you go. PXC, that's an example of a company. Super tough to value. I really struggled based on the fundamentals. But I keep an eye on the chart. Look at the chart. And look at this chart. That looks good. That looks good. And it's a real estate type firm, and there's a lot of moving parts. But just quickly, just saying. But yeah. So I'm a big fan of sales to price. I'm a big fan of like these first 4: sales to price, EBIT to EV, TB to price, mostly tangible book to price. Not so much E to P. I put it there because y'all looking at it, but. More, I'd like operating cash flow, simple free cash flow. That's just operating cash flow less capex, or plus capex if it's a negative number, whatever, positive number. Net cash flow, operating cash flow minus investing cash flow. I like those ones. I feel like it might be underlooked at because most people I don't know most people. Who's most people? Is it institutions? Because they're the ones moving most of the capital. That's what should matter, because that's what causes the biggest moves. If it's number of individual investors, who cares? Does that matter? I'm not sure it does. But most people just looking at earnings, like, you gotta look at cash flow, right? People know that, right? Everyone knows that. And then I like to look at cash to price, net cash to price. What am I doing? Who cares? Sorry, rambling. But that's I like to be able to. You can just quickly sort right there. So let me get back to what is it? Column 2. Boom. So you're going to see that same view over and over again. Roaring Kitty portfolio, boom. I took a little bit more time with that, but let's get to the next view. Let's go to Roaring Kitty buy. This one's a little bit more complicated to explain, but it's really just companies that I'm keeping my eye on. Like, if I don't own it, maybe I want to buy it, or I do own it and I want to add a little bit. And it's good to just add it. It's a good reminder. Like, it gets tough when you're tracking so much. This is the problem. But when you're one person, is that if you're a firm, you have one person just dedicated to this. Hey, the chart's kind of turning around on this area or that area. But so I try to just add a list. This isn't totally up to date. I got a Roaring Kitty sell. It's even fewer companies in there. It's kind of a new thing that I wanted a way to know which stocks I wanted to keep an eye on for whatever reason. So that's what this is. And so I just add it. So if I want to add a laziness alert, if I want to add a company to this Roaring Kitty buy list, and let's say I'm elsewhere, I'm looking at the chart, or I see it on insider buying, and I come back here, I'm like, you know what? I should add that to the buy list of companies I just keep an eye on. Not so much buy per se, just potential buy. And so I'll open this up. I can't go scrolling and go looking for the next cell that's empty. So look at this. I built a script for this. so lazy. This script is just going to bring me to the first empty cell of this Roaring Kitty buy column. Watch this. So let me go to the top. Bring over here. I'm going to click this RK buy. Watch this. Oh, God. It goes over there first. It goes over there first to right, and then it goes down to the bottom. Oh, my God. So there you go. So I'll type in the ticker, and boom, I got it done. And then to get back to the top, another link to get back to the top. So most of this is silly stuff. I do know that, but it's helpful. That's it. That's it for that. So that's just the buy list, just things I'm keeping an eye on. And this isn't up to date either. I apologize, but I'm just trying to show you. And then so it's going to be the same thing for the sell, things I'm keeping an eye on to sell. You saw it was yellow over there at the checkbox up there. I got some checked, got 3 checked. If I click that, it'll be unchecked. Sell. Same thing. It's a smaller list. This should be built out more. And these are sell like might be just sell like trim. Maybe it was up like some of these have pulled back since I added them. That's the thing. You got to be on top of this stuff, and I'm not. It's really hard to be on top of this stuff all the time. I hope to be better about it because of the live stream. But like these 2 lists in particular, if they're not up to date, they're useless and they become a burden. So just something to bear in mind. The same thing with sell. I click this, and then I get all the charts too. So all right, now let's get to Pulse. Pulse is these are I might mention this elsewhere. This list is actually a little bit. It's the same thing, but it's a different type of a list. But in this Pulse list, these are big, huge companies that it's a way for me to take the pulse of the market and maybe the U.S. and the world economies. They're big companies. I've owned some of them, but most of them are companies I wouldn't typically deal in, but you might just look through the chart to see how they're performing. Like a couple months ago, everything was cratering, right? And so I would have looked at these to just see, what are they doing? What are those ones doing? Because they're not typically the ones I'd buy, or I'd be dialed into. So this is where I can check that out. Probably I'd most likely be checking it at the chart level. What is it sorted by? I sorted by daily percent change. That's usually a common way I'll be sorting by it, or by market cap. Or by market cap. That's what I'd be doing. So that's all that is, taking a pulse for the market. Again, I've dealt in some of these. I don't typically. But yeah. All right, so then we can do trend at the same time. Great, no scrolling. And then, so trend, this one's a little bit difficult to explain. And let me do my best. So trend. So I'm a value investor. I'm always trying to buy stuff that's trading cheaply. But at the same time, I feel like it's beneficial to add to the portfolio, in the context of the portfolio, to have stocks in the portfolio that are already in a powerful uptrend, regardless of the value. Not regardless of the value, but like where value is discounted, because it just is a matter of diversification. I know people think diversification, they think like sectors and geographically and so forth, but I feel like style is a good diversification, and I'm trying to be better about that. That's why I try to pick up additional skill sets that I can round out. I don't want to just be one style. And the trends are one of them. Like I see a really good trend on things, and maybe it doesn't look like classically cheap, but I'm just like, if you see a big pullback, what if that trend persists? And so this is actually a criticism I have of myself from a couple months ago. So a couple months ago, markets cratering, and I'm hyper focused on value stocks, right? That's my style. It's what I'm dialed into, and I go heavy into value stocks. I go heavy into especially like smaller value stocks. That's what I go into. And it just so happened I got incredibly lucky with my timing. I almost nailed everything. And as it turned out, value has done really well so far. Maybe it gives back a whole bunch of the gains, or I look like an idiot. But as it turned out, it worked out. But I didn't know that was going to happen, right? You didn't know either. We didn't know what was going to happen. And so almost immediately after, like, we're still in the heat of it, right? I mean, that's the thing with these crises. Like, you're in the heat of it. It's not just a one-day thing. It's not a one-week thing. Like, before you hit the bottom and the weeks after you hit the bottom, you should probably still be doing stuff. And you don't know when the bottom is. But to like days later and weeks later, and in my defense, I did diversify. Like, I did a good job getting into some REITs and stuff, and I rarely deal in REITs, and I was getting into some biotech stuff. As a matter of diversification, I thought everything was selling off indiscriminately, so I was just trying to pick up some other stuff. Like, this is why I had so many damn stocks in the portfolio, and I was like reaching beyond value. But like one thing I didn't go heavy enough into was like days passed, weeks passed. I'm like, shit, like I should have been picking up some of these stocks that were in tremendous uptrends leading up to this, because you don't know what's going to bounce back the strongest. coming out of a crisis. You can't know. I like to think I'm biased. I like to think it's going to be value. And as it turned out, value's been a tremendous performer so far, but I didn't know that. And so I try to be objective with my analysis of my own approach. And looking back, and the thing that happened, it bounced back so quickly that I couldn't, it bounced. We're all in the same boat. This isn't a unique issue. Like, I think everyone was kind of surprised by how quickly it bounced back. Like, I was prepared for a more gradual downtrend, and then like I was like March 16th, March 17th. I'm like, I better start buying a whole bunch of positions so I can track it in the portfolio. So I bought a whole bunch. Just like, I thought I had weeks and months ahead of me, and then March 18th happened, and March 18th was it. March 18th was the day. I don't know if everyone agrees with this, but the morning of March 18th, that was it. That was true panic. Like, I haven't seen it before to that degree. The prices I saw on so many stocks were indefensible, and then they bounced back. And I had some orders out that didn't even get executed that day. Like, in the time I set the order, like, things bounced back that day. Not a crazy amount, but enough that some of them didn't even get executed. And so I had to pull an all-nighter. So then it happened March 18th, and I bought a good amount, but not as much as I should have. And I'm like, shit. So I had to pull an all-nighter March 18th, going through all this stuff. And a lot of the stuff you see here now was like, all right, this is the stuff I care most about. So I had to go legit all night. I had to go through everything, being like, all right, I need to diversify immediately and buy all the stocks that I was planning on averaging. Like, you got to average into this stuff. And then I realized I had to do it as soon as possible. And then so I had to pull that all-nighter, get my list of the stocks that I was going to buy, and then I'm buying March 19th, March 20th, and then I'm sitting on some cash because I still wasn't sure that bottom was it. No one knows, right? No one knows. And then I sent some emails to family on Sunday, being like, hey, heads up, it seems real close, generational opportunity. It still kind of felt like there was still going to be like another 10% drop. I wasn't sure. And so I said that, like, these are already crazy prices. How fortunate we would be if it fell off another 10%. We should be prepared for that. I don't expect it to go below that. It could be prepared for anything. And then, sorry, I'm like going off on tangent here, but this is the origin of this trend column here. And then Monday, and then the Fed had an announcement on Monday, and it was a really what I considered positive announcement. Sentiment. This is so easy to say in 2020 hindsight, but I have the trade log to prove this. And on Monday they had that announcement, and the market was still down like 2 or 3%, and I'm like, this is it. This is March 23rd. I shit you not. I took screenshots of all my buys. I deployed everything on March 23rd. All the remaining cash, and then that night, and then I have tons of positions. All those positions you see, most of them originated on March 23rd. And this isn't a victory lap, right? Because I couldn't have known that. I didn't know. As it turned out, I was super lucky with everything. I've been unlucky in the past. You're going to see me be unlucky, and that's going to be a learning opportunity for you and for me, and you should be excited about that, as I am. Every year that comes up, I'm like, how am I going to look dumb this year? What am I going to learn? And that night, I talked to my wife, like, we need to get more cash. We need to get more cash in there because this could drop again. I don't know. It could drop again. So I got more cash in there the next day. And I'm I have it just in case. This is like can't lose cash, right? But this is the time you need that can't lose cash. And that was it. That was the low. And things bounced back, and I was buying more. I still, like I said, I deployed everything. I don't mean I was down to 0%. Hyperbole, right? I'm down to like, I don't know, 5% or 8, maybe 2%. I had a bunch of accounts, and they're all at different levels. And then you got to buy on the way up. You can't buy on the low. So I'm still buying. I'm like annoyed that I'm not buying at the low, right? Who isn't? And I'm still buying a couple weeks. And then just as it turned out, like, that was it. And it was a little bit anticlimactic. Not that week. I say that now. Shit, that week was messed up. And anyway, like days later, like a week later, right? So it was this last second week. I'm like, what the hell am I doing? What am I doing? All these value stocks, like, if we do retest and if we take out the lows, like, I might be screwed. Like these might be. So I was already up quite a bit, right? But then I'm like, then I'm nervous. So I wish I had been more closely tracking all the stocks with real powerful uptrends that look really great, so that I could. So that, like, what if those bounce back the strongest? Many of them did bounce back. You look at like Amazon, for example. What a terrific company that I'm never dealing in such great companies. And sometimes the market will offer it up to you. So it's a really good idea to track these things because I'm value at heart. It's really hard for me to buy these things just based on trend and chart and stuff. I'm going to try to, maybe I shouldn't, but I feel like I should. I feel like just to diversify. So I'll be doing it anyway. But really, for times like that, you want to have a portfolio, not a portfolio, just a list of stocks that, like, hey, this trend looked great before shit hit the fan. You should pick some of these up, because if the trend resumes, they could kick ass. And this could be, maybe this is the inflection point. I'm not, as you may know now, I'm not into the whole, I forget if I mentioned this, the whole value versus growth debate is kind of silly. I'm not even in the camp that thinks value's been underperforming, so don't ask me. But it could be this is that inflection point everyone's talking about, where value, one of the types of stocks that usually deal and crush it from here on out. But I don't know that. I didn't know it then. I still don't even know it now. It's hard to know it so early. But a lot of these trendy stocks bounce back strong. Like even Tesla, like a stock like Tesla, I can't. Good luck value in that to me. Facebook, like some really good. Shopify, like I could have. How are you not adding that to your portfolio at those prices? I'm not saying if you're looking to try to crush the market, the types of returns I am, they can't be a huge part of your portfolio. But for certain accounts, if you don't want to take on too much risk, it's inexcusable to not be adding such great companies at discount prices like that. The great companies, right? Because even if the market continues to tank, they'll sell off too. Not as much, and they'll struggle. But if they're good businesses, they'll be long-term beneficiaries of everything. So anyway, how long did that take? Oh, God, I need a drink. That was the thought behind this, is that I thought I want to be prepared next time this happens. That you may see, like, there's some things like gold and stuff on here. You may go think, what the hell are those doing on there, right? Good question. But like gold looks good. The gold has looked good, and maybe everyone knows this if you've been watching the chart. Gold has looked good since it broke 1400 on the charts. And this is the thing, like, I'm a fundamentals guy, right? So, but I can't. What am I going to order? What am I going to analyze production and demand? What maybe you think you can do that? Maybe you can. You crush it. Good props to you. I can't do that. I'm not that smart. I'm like kind of dumb. I just try to use some basic rules of thumb and that type of stuff. And I try not to be stupid. That's what I try to be, not stupid. And if I start trying to get into analyzing demand and production, that's for me, that's stupid, because I don't know what I'm doing, and I can't read the tea leaves and stuff. But the charts, I read a chart. You read a chart. And so gold, that thing broke 1400. Like, that looks damn good. So in March, it was a great opportunity in March, and I think it was March 16th. It was March 16th. That morning, the gold miners, I'm like, what? Or in a Friday too. There was a Friday, GXJ like dropped something crazy. There's some really crazy. What a March. What a month. A bad month for a lot of people. Like, right? I mean, we're talking stocks. We're talking stocks here. We grab a beer. Just talking market, but like real world stuff. For the sake of this stream and everything, I need to separate a little bit here. But for stock market, students of the market, it was a great month for students of the market. And gold, it was a tremendous buying opportunity fundamentally, to a degree. In my opinion, I think there's some fundamental value there. That's really hard to I don't want to get down the gold path here, but I think there's value in things that do nothing. That's all I'll say. I'm not a gold bug, you'll learn. But plus the trend. And so there were things like March 16th, great opportunity to buy gold. These weren't here before, though. I was watching gold this whole time. And some other one, I was in Camping World. I've been in Camping World. That thing got its ass kicked. And but I was watching it, so I was really dialed into it because of that. So I was just buying more and buying more. I'm like, oh, wow. So that was a trend that was looking good. And then a whole bunch of, this list should be longer. It should be a lot longer, so you can help me build out this trend list. Sorry, this was a long, for how much time I'm going to spend here, I went way too deep, so I apologize. But it's good. It's helpful for me to talk about this too, because it's the origin story of it. We'll turn it into a Marvel movie, right? And okay, that's that. We gotta move on. Sector. What sector? Oh, industry filter. This is industry filter. So sometimes you just wanna. I told you I was gonna pull up the industry tab, but I didn't do it. I'll do it next. This is a good lead into it. So sometimes you just want to look at everything. You want context. Sometimes you'll look at the charts for a sub-industry, right? Or you'll look at an area, like in the industry tab, which I'll show you. But sometimes you need context of everything. Like, so for example, if I want to see, let's go to materials. Like if I'm looking at, let's say, diversified chemicals sub-industry, companies in there. But like, I'm like, wait a second, diversified chemicals. What the hell is that? Like, what's diversified chemicals? Are there other chemical industries? Like, I kind of know now, but sometimes I forget. I'm a dad now, so, it's true. The whole, I think they call it like mama brain or something, but this dada brain, like I feel like I used to have a good memory. I can't remember shit now. But like I forget, like are there other chemical industries? What are they? So this is what this is. This was the thinking behind this. It's like everything's grouped by materials, industry, and sub-industry, and I want to see everything together. So here's all your chemicals. There's all your chemicals, and so now I can see, and then I can dig in deeper. So if I want to pull up sector, look at this. Oh, that's going to bring me to the industry tab. I promise you, I'm going to show you that in just a second. What about industry? All right. So if I pull up industry, this is the link. Everything's a link. This will bring up the for industry, it's an ETF. It's whatever I've picked for the industry ETF. So is that agribusiness? Sometimes it's agribusiness. That's all I had. You got a better ETF for the chemicals industry? Are they all? Look at that. It's agribusiness for all chemicals. You got something better? Send it to me. But sometimes it's tough to nail down an ETF for each industry. And so. But in sub-industry, then this is how you pull up the charts. So this is going to be, I'm going to see all the charts for all the companies within the sub-industry. And so that's what that is, right? So it's at least nice having everything accessible. But the purpose of this is not this part. It's nice to be reminded of everything. But then once I'm here, what I can do is I can check off any one of these columns, sector, industry, or sub-industry. And what it will do is I've checked off gold. Let me uncheck. I can either uncheck it here. Watch this. Just for fun. Just for shits and giggles. Unchecked. Okay, now let's check off a new one. What's a good one? Let's do, what is it, commodity chemicals? Already did chemicals. You got a funner one? I want one with the, so here's this column. This is number of companies in the sub-industry. Perfect. Let's just do, especially, let's do 36. It doesn't matter. Let's stop wasting time. What are you doing? Stop wasting time. All right, so then once you've checked off, you don't want to have to scroll up to the top. Boom, boom. And then this will be, and you can see this is specialty chemicals, and it takes a couple of seconds for the conditional formatting to kick in. Oh, it's already there. And then there you go. So now you're able to filter by specialty chemicals, and I can sort by whatever. I can use it to screen. It's the same view as before. So this is the thing. You want all these same views all over the place. And yeah, that's that. It's more for just context. Sometimes I just need context because I forget. Okay, so now let me go back to industry filter here, and we'll just stick with chemicals. I had no plan of sticking with chemicals, but here we are. So if I get to, so if I click materials sector here, and I click this, it's going to bring me to the industry tab down below. Watch this. It's going to bring me right to not just there's even more context, right? More granular. I'm in the materials section of the industry tab, and here's all your material sectors. You're going to see gold, and you're going to see silver and steel and copper. And I got to scroll. This was for you. It was all in one view, but steel, aluminum, specialty chemical. When it's gray in the background, that's more, it's like grouping similar. I think it's industries. I think it's grouping by industry. And now I can see the companies. And this is great. This is super. I'm not going to be in here all the time, but it's helpful at certain times, especially during crunch time. I need a new phrase for crunch time. Let's come up with something together. And so then I can scroll and can start digging through. So that's the thing. I can link directly to, in theory, I can link directly to gold and directly to silver. It's too much work. I would have had to go through each sub-industry and to do it. Now I'm reached a point where I can't stand the tedious work. I can't do that stuff. I'm at my limits with this. And so I just link to materials. Then I have to go hunt for, with whatever the sub-industry is. But I have context now. I still like to see the context and the companies within each. And I got the check boxes I can check off from here. And importantly, I can sort. So I wanted to consolidate the view, so I only picked a handful of columns to bring into this view. I got ticker, name, market price, day percentages, to 52-week high. I don't even have value here because it's more for crunch time. It doesn't matter. It just matters what has fallen down, what has fallen the most. 6-month insider buying. Oh, they're blank right now? That means there's I hit an error for this. They usually sort themselves out. But I'll look into it. And then I got a number of insiders who would have bought. That's a really helpful thing to have. It's kind of annoying it's not there, but I'll get it to work. And then business, whatever the business is. I tried to boil it down to like the most critical things I want to see, and when I'm scouring over everything. And then each of these, because I only had so much space, I had to, each of these is a link. This is to the Yahoo profile. This is for news. If I want to pull up news, this is for the SEC website. This is for charts. Usually prices for charts. This is for Seeking Alpha. Many times I'll pull up Seeking Alpha just to see the analysis quickly. And then look, this is Whale Wisdom right there. So if I want to pull up the holdings, it's hiding there in the 52-week high one. Yeah, so those are those columns. And here's the other really helpful thing about this. I can sort by this drop down here, and then I can sort by anything. I sort by any one of these columns. So if I don't have the insider buying, that's a bummer, but I can sort by 52-week highs. So what's 52 at 1, 2, 3, 4? Well, I'll just sort by daily percent change. Let's do 5. And so now we'll sort everything by daily percent change, and that's really great if you just want to dig into what all those percent changes are. Often it's by insider buying too, so that's a drag. It's not working. Okay, so usually I keep it by market cap though, because usually I just want to see like let's work from the top down. Let's start with the big companies and work our way down. And I also got a link to the chart. I always want links to the charts. I want to see all the charts for all the companies in the sub industry. So that's that. And all right, so and then I have all the, you can see up top there, I got all the industry. So I go to energy, boom, energy, done. Go to industrial. I usually the most common industries I'm investing in: energy, materials, industry, consumer discretionary, information technology. You can see, so I'm like you're probably never gonna see me invest in utilities. I can't say never. Can't say never. Highly unlikely. Highly unlikely. Real estate, I've been trying to add more financial. I think some REITs are classified as financials, but some things are oddly classified as like staples and stuff. You'll see me invest in these. I don't know. I can't say never. Some things are just weird classifications, but let's just scroll down to information technology. Boom. There we go. I like the green to remind me where I am. And so all the gray area has the software and technology and stuff. Yeah, that's it for the industry tab. And yeah, I think that's everything. Okay, so now let's start going to the day. I can't even look at it. Let's go into day. So this is the daily movers tab. This is filtering from the universe all the biggest movers using this formula there. It goes by, I think, anything above 10% or above, or 10% or below for the downers. And here there's no links there. So there's no links in the I would have preferred, I always like the links right where I'm clicking on something, but it slows down the performance of the spreadsheet a bit. So the links are separated on the left hand side, and then I just use array formulas to pull everything in. And then so there's only one formula there's only one formula at the top of each thing, so it keeps things quick. So that's it. So this view, there's quite a bit of thought went into this, or experience rather. Like the stuff right in the middle is the stuff I'm focusing on the most during like crunch time. Weekly percent change, daily percent change, the tag, whether I own it or if it's in a watch list and so forth. Or if I own it, how much I own it, the ticker, the name, and the conditional formatting based on sector, price and market cap right next to each other. Eventually you reach a point where I just need to know the price. That's what I was doing in March. Like, what is the price? Where are we at? Because I've internalized a lot of the stuff. Market cap, just a quick way to assess risk based on what the market cap is. Same for revenues. I think I mentioned that elsewhere. If you know the revenues and the market cap, you get a good sense of what the risk involved might be. Same thing for industry, sub-industry. If you know the sub-industry, that's helpful. And I've already talked about value, blend, and 52-week high, 52-week low. And you've seen all these, the metrics there. I talked about those. And so right by default, it's sorted by the daily percent change because that's what I'm looking at here. But I can sort by anything, which is great. And so I do it by column number. And so you can see at the top there, like the column numbers. That was a manual effort, such a pain in the ass. I had to type that in to remind myself what the column is. But anyway, I could sort by stuff. So maybe here's all your movers that moved greater than 10%, but maybe you want to sort those big movers by insider buying. No problem. And just sort this by, let's do column 8. This is sick. This is sick. There you go. Of the biggest movers today, there's your ones with the biggest insider buying. Isn't that, does anyone else think that's cool? Can you comment if you think that's cool? Because I know there's not many of you out there. It's so weird. There's so many other cool things in life and in this world. So it's embarrassing to say that. But as far as in the context of spreadsheets and in my style, that's cool. In the real world, it ain't cool. I'll tell you that right now. You think I don't know that? I know that. Okay. And so I like to do that. We'll do that during the stream. We're going to do this during the stream, whatever the biggest moves are. And, or let's do book to price. I was going to say price to book, right? So it's at 28. I mean, I don't really need to show this stuff. I kind of just want to see it work. There you go. All right, we got a couple. No, I can't say. Can I still? If I say price below book, at least you'll know what I mean. Because now everything's going to be priced above. It's priced above book. I guess I can just say priced above book. What am I complaining about? And yeah, we got a couple. Price. I owned Red Robin. It was a bigger position. Now it's a nominal position because I thought it was. So say if I want to pull up the chart, it should be right there, but I got to scroll over here because I wanted to keep performance looking good. When did I sell out? Oh, look at this. Okay, so it was definitely a big, not a big position, a bigger position earlier, and then I started to just take some profits on stuff, and that was one of them, and it's kind of giving some gains back, and then yeah. So anyway, sorry, it's just daily mover. So you can do this kind of stuff in here. I got the checkbox. I can check stuff off, and then I can pull up the SEC. Well Wisdom. See, these are things you can. This is why I had that separate video because I wanted to talk about those websites because I use them so frequently. Seeking Alpha, peers. This pulls up those charts of all the peers. News, if I want. So this is what I'm talking about. I pull up news for this. Now I get the full name with investor relations press release. Excuse me. Business. So now I have the business for a lot of these right there. I pulled them in. I don't have them for all of them. It's like that's all I can do. I did my best to automate that. I won't go into the details, but so the ones that are blank, I wasn't able to automate it. That's all. And then so that's business. So that if I don't have it, I can pull up Yahoo profile, and then I'll have the Yahoo profile. I couldn't get Yahoo to open up down here. I couldn't. It's just like Seeking Alpha. Or there was no ID to use. If you get a shortcut, if there's no ID and you know how to have it open down at the bottom, could you let me know? Because that'd be helpful. And then that's the price and just the chart. That's all. And what's this? So the insider buying's not pulling in here too. So right there is where there's supposed to be insider buying in addition to over here. So something fishy's going on. I gotta look into that after this. So anyway, but the link doesn't even work. Oh, so the link doesn't work if the dollar amount's there. Oh, that's not good. So in that case, I'd just have to use my search engine shortcut. So I'd be, there's not going to be any for CMRE. I think, is that a Bermuda company or something? We could do it for BJ's. I just have to go my search engine stuff. Oof, I got to troubleshoot that now. But yeah, see, that's the thing, because I'm relying on Open Insider. Great thing, but sometimes the import, it doesn't work, and it breaks. So drawback in a real platform, that stuff's always available. You should never be running into that, but this is the life of individual investor. Okay, so now we get into weekly, and so the weekly is the same thing. Oh, let me go back to that. I didn't even show you. I showed you the gainers. I didn't show you the losers. So if I click on the losers here, I just bring it down, and that's it. Just the same view, just down at the bottom. I scroll down to get to it, and it's same stuff. It's all the same stuff. This is 10% or worse on the day, and kind of quiet day. This isn't too many movers on the day. All right, so then weekly, same thing with the weekly. I just changed the conditional formatting from day to week, and that's it. Everything else is the same. I don't need to review anything. Oh, the only other thing I'll say is I was talking about, you see these are blue. This is just for the sake of the videos. I was talking about how to move stuff over. I got these links to move me over and then move me back. That's all those are. Sometimes I forget. Sometimes I'll change the formatting because I don't like the hyperlinks. I said that, but sometimes I got to remind myself to keep it blue so I remember it's a link. So that's weekly, and then we got dollar. This is insider buying. So this is work. So I still have the insider buying stuff. It's just not working in certain areas. So this is Open Insider, but in this Roaring Kitty tracker view, where now I can see the insider buying as it gets filed with all the data. This is sick. Because Open Insider, as great as it is, it's a drag. You don't have the other stuff. Let me say this. One thing that's really good, let me use GameStop because I know it's some insider buying. If you highlight over thing, that's nice. That's a nice feature that at least if you're an Open Insider, you can hold over that. This is a good way to screen for a company. So if you go to the latest, let's just do cluster buys just as an example. Look at this. This is a way to screen. It's like right there. That's a new company, probably not on my list. So I could add that. And I should have mentioned this in the other video. That's too bad. And then I can scroll, and then you can get some ideas. So this one looks kind of interesting, a little bit there, but Biologic might not be a good fit for me, but it looks interesting. So this is a good. I wish I had this in my spreadsheet, and I don't. This one looks interesting. Oh, I've invested them, but I don't know. I won't. That was years ago. I continued to track them, but I think some PE firms got involved, and I feel like it's a risk I don't want right now. Sorry. And then that one looked good. I didn't buy that one, but I was watching Escalade. Not that it's a different type of Escalade. So anyway, sorry. This one looks interesting, Fall. So they had a huge amount of insider buying recently. No, not enough people talking about it. And look at that chart. Something's going on there. I own it. It's in the portfolio, model portfolio. So I like that. So I can't do that in this view, but I have everything else, all the other data. And so now I can sort by the biggest buys and then quickly look at some metrics. I can see who's buying at a company that's trading below or above book to price. And let's just do that right. So right now it's sorted by, I forget, it's sorted by 6. It's sorted by 6 month. Oh, that don't look right. Oh, 66. I don't even know. What's 66? Oh, something random. We could sort by 28. Let's do 20. Let's do book to price again. What did we say book to price was? 29. There you go. So look at this. So in some insider buying at prices. Civio, I've owned them in the past. Fang, I think I own them right now. Wow, they still trade, but man, book value on those energy companies. Fossil, there you go. Look at this. Trading at maybe 1 times tangible book, but 1.7 times. How do you say that? Trading, the book's trading at 1.7. You get 1.7 times. I got to practice that. But that's you see it's in the position right there. You can see. Oh, so Fang, I have a lot of energy exposure, and Fang was one of the bigger companies that I took profits on because I get so many other riskier ones that I figured I didn't need. I just had to cut back. But Fossil, that's a good sized position, 1%. So Escalade was on deck. Look at that one. Flex Shopper, that's an interesting small cap. A lot of insider buying going on there. Look at this. So then I got 12. So this is the thing, you can see 12 month, and then you can see 3 month. Then you can see this was. I forget if I even had this, but like, it's one thing to see, all right, how much was bought over the past 12 months? How much was bought over the 3 months? But then, crunch time, you're looking every day at this stuff, and you want to see what was bought over the past week. Again, this is what I'm talking about. You want to see insider buying, like during a big sell-off or in a huge sell-off on the market. Who bought stuff past week? Who bought stuff 1 to 2 weeks ago? Who bought stuff 2 to 4 weeks ago? Because then you can keep researching who bought stuff who was buying stuff in March, right? I was all over the people who were buying stuff in March. I was keeping such a close eye on that. It really helped. And so that's what I did my best. I think this is all accurate. I did my best. It was a little bit hard to break this out, but I think I did okay. And then how many insiders bought past 6 months? How many, that's good enough. How many insiders bought past 6 months? How many insiders bought past month? And then, so I broke this out a whole bunch of ways because it really matters so much. And then here's a column for value. I forget if I showed that, but you can't see it. So I have a date when that value was ascribed, but I think I hid the column for the view's sake. But you look how many are empty. So many are empty, right? It's like a lot of them fell off, and I didn't bring them into this new version. These spreadsheets have been through many versions. So I think I didn't carry them over. I figured we can build them out during the stream. So, anything else to show? That's it. I really like this. I feel like we'll spend a lot of time on this during the stream because this is really cool. And then so this is what I'm talking about screening. I'm always screening. I'm always tracking. Like, this is just a view that I have. You can call this screening, but I'm just watching what's going on. Who bought? Okay, this is who bought, and then we'll dig in deeper. Let's pull up Seek and Alpha. Let's see what people are saying about this company. Let's pull up the peers. How's this industry been performing lately? Lately, it all kind of looks the same because of what happened, but this one, so that's how I spend most of my time. And is that it? Did we get through everything? What day is it? It's almost the next day. Oh, jeez. I should have got another beer between the videos. I'll be honest, I was working on the same beer. I just didn't. My daughter's sleeping. I wasn't gonna open the door. I'm trying to quiet the room too. I got blankets hanging up, and don't get me into it. But the only other thing I would show in this spreadsheet is the thing checked off is CSV. So I have to export a lot of stuff. Like I talk about, some stuff's manual. The chart list and stock charts is manual, and so for the dashboard, that stuff's not updating too much. I took some time in the past couple months to just build that out. It's good enough. I don't spend that much time on the dash, so like what's in there is good enough. Maybe I'll add a couple things to the risk column, some new companies or something, but those are good enough. I won't be updating those probably, unless you catch errors, and then there's probably errors. But things like the portfolio and things like the buy list and the sell list and the trend, and the gainers, and so sometimes I'll take the gainers. Let's just do that. So let's take the gainers. Let's go. Are we sorted by daily gain? Yeah, we're sorted by daily gain. So let's go to CSV. Let's take the daily gainers. And these are all array formulas. It's saying based on what you see. I don't even know how this works. Are there multiple columns? Yeah, so there's multiple columns here working together. This isn't a Google sheet. See what I don't screen? I don't like screening. I don't like scrolling. Sorry, it's getting late. See, it's saying like if that says this, then do this array formula, blah blah blah. That's all that's doing. And so let's change it to daily gain and 1 day gainers. Oh, nice. It's kind of snappy. It used to be so slow. I can't even. This is a big part of the latest version of these spreadsheets. They're so slow, and it needs to be faster. Even this is still so silly because if you're in a legitimate platform, like this is elementary, but anyway, so now we have one day gainers. What I can do is I export CSV. Come on, download CSV, downloaded CSV, and then I just click 1 day gainers, boom, and this should bring me right to where I upload CSV. Come on, boom. I still have to click upload CSV. I can't get around that. But all I got to do is I just click this, drag it, and just drop it right there. That's it. I'm not gonna upload. Oh wait, I can upload it. Let's do it. Upload. There you go. It's done. And then watch this, 10 page. So, wait a second. Oh, did I have to? Oh, you know what? I made this mistake previously. So watch this. I got to click 1 day gainers. I got to click OK. I forgot to click OK. You go upload CSV. I always forget to do this. I won't forget during the stream if I do this. I click upload. And then, that did work. Sorry. Oh, my bad. Go to 10 page, and then here we have everything. I'm not sure why that's popping at the beginning. I got to look into that. Can I just check that real quick? I don't know why that showed up there. That's weird. Oh, you know what I'm supposed... Oh, I know why. Because it's doing duplicates. So I should go like this. This is what you're supposed to do. So it's an extra step. You got to go this. You got to clear out the watch list. That's it. Clear out the watch list. Then upload CSV. Then drop this. Then drop this. Then upload. So I'm going to have to do that and then click OK. Oh, that's a drag. Then 10 page. All right. I guess if I got to do that, I forgot about that. Then here we go. We got all the charts. See that? So it really only takes like 60 seconds, right? That's a long 60 seconds for me, for you too, probably. And now we can go look through the chart. So it's another way to screen, right? That's what, like Open Insider, it will be nice to just hover over it and just see the chart for each one, but this is okay. So we'll probably do some of that. And I got to do it for, but I need to update like the buy list and the Roaring Kitty portfolio. I just got to do that, but that's what I do. Open Stock charts, just drag over the file and it gets uploaded. So that was something I had to build in. The other thing I had to do too, I have a separate CSV tab. This is more for Google Sheets folks who want to learn more. I have a separate CSV file because, I didn't show my screen tab. Sorry. I guess I'll show this just quickly. So this is very similar view to the others. So remember when I talked about, like sometimes I'll screen, I'll set aside time to screen. This is what this view is for. I don't use it that often, but during crunch time, you may want to actually screen. So what I do is I turn this into a filter. I'll be quick about this, and I'll just filter by some tag, whatever it was I called. Track is everything, but if I wanted to filter by the watch list, pull this up and look at this. This looks ridiculous. These column heights, row heights, terrible. But I can't do anything about it. You can't even see the column headers. You got to click in. That's annoying. But during crunch time, if you wanted to screen, you just sort by this, and then you can click around, and this is where data gets pasted because you can't be messing with these filters and moving stuff all around and do dual filters and multiple filters, quad filter, whatever. If you want to filter by like 4 things, I call it screen, but I'm just filtering. If you want to filter by 4 things, it really slows down the performance. So I use filters, and then I still have all the hyperlinks on the side there. And then you can even type stuff in too, right? Can't you filter by, look at this. You can filter by doing these cool things. Most of you won't know this probably in Google Sheets, but you can filter by like between stuff. If you want, give me the market caps between this and that. And you can't do that with those other sorts. You can't do it with a sorting function. You need the filters. So sometimes there are times when I want to do this, and that's where these filters come in handy. Like, give me only the companies that are trading between this and that, or give me the companies that are trading between this and that and this. You need filters for that. And I'm not doing this often, and maybe we'll do it. Maybe I'll do it more often during the stream. But there's also times during when you're really trying to work fast, where this is a way to screen. So that's what this tab is. Again, the data is getting pasted. If I click that roaring kitty, this data is getting pasted automatically on a set time period. It's getting pasted on a set time period, but if I click roaring kitty, it will also paste again. I think it does it twice a day, like at 10 a.m. and like 4 p.m. or something, because I'm not going to be doing this midday. Actually, it's kind of tough to work in these spreadsheets midday because the daily prices are moving. It kind of slows down performance a bit. They work, but it's less zippier than it is right now. That's just another helpful reason of working in the evening. But anything else to show? This is really helpful stuff. These filters are helpful. I mean, it's effectively a screening tool. If you use any regular screening tool on any website or anything, this is how they work. Is they're just filtering based on these different things. So this is why I call it screen. This is true screening, as most of you know it. Select a sub-industry. It's not just usual stuff. So that's that tab. But the thing is, when you filtered by filtered by the watch list, right? What happens is you'll see on the left column here, a whole bunch of these, there's missing rows. They're hidden, right? Because it's filtered. So if you want to, what if you want to export, sometimes I wanted to do this a couple months ago. This is why I built this. What if you want to export these tickers to check out the charts? If you try to do what I usually do, which is, hey, just give me those, do an array fill, I'm going to pull everything in. It still pulls in the visible rows. It still pulls in the hidden rows. It pulls everything in. It doesn't it doesn't understand how the filter works, and it pulls everything in. That's annoying. And I came up with a way to get around that. I have this visible tab with this. I don't remember how this works. I'm going to show you. Most of you can tune out right now if you don't care about this. But let me show you how this works. Is that it's looking to. Oh no. Where do I do this? Oh, they're looking. They do it over here. Sorry, there's like a whole bunch of. So this is what I'm doing. Look at this. This is absurd. This is the most ridiculous. This is the most ridiculous. This is the most ridiculous formula that you'll see in this spreadsheet. It's stupid. It's indefensible. It's indefensible. But what I had to do was I Google this. You'll find it. You'll find what I found is that you need to create a special. I can't even explain it. I don't even remember how it works. And there's 3 of these columns, and I had to subtotal. I might have a link. Do I have a link? So I had to do this for a whole bunch of the columns, and then they get pulled over to this one, and they all get aggregated. Oh, I should have kept usually I keep myself a link. I have a bookmark somewhere, but do a Google as to how you look up filtered views or something like that. Anyway, this works and it's kind of cool. But here's the thing that's really weird in Google Sheets. So I have everything filtered, right? Here's the filter view. This is it, right? Terrific, you say. If I export this CSV, you will see the visible rows. You'll see. I'm not going to test it now. Test this yourself. Who's going to test this yourself? One of you will test this yourself. If I export this, you think it's going to export all just these tickers, and you see everything, and I can't even. That's the weirdest Google Sheet error because it doesn't make any sense. How does it not just export these rows? How are you exporting rows that aren't there? So, Google Sheets, you're tuning in for this, yeah? I'm sure you are. There's a bug. I found a bug. You gotta fix that bug. Google, call me. Google. That's it. And then so what I actually have to do is I have to literally copy. I have to highlight this and copy, which is silly, right? But if I'm jumping through the hoops to do this, it's worth it. It's worth it. Who cares about copy and pasting? But just a heads up, just something. It's just a silly. At this point, we're in so deep. But if you're still watching, what's wrong with you? No, I'm just kidding. Obviously nothing, right? Nothing. So it's not a big deal. I just wanted to show you that one last thing. Kind of cool. What was this? No, that's not it. Oh, that's the chart. That's to update the chart. That's all I'd show. I showed you this send. This stuff's kind of boring. There's other spreadsheets too I could show you. Here's the other spreadsheets. If I click here, you see portfolio. That's how I update the portfolio. Fundies. What am I doing? That's where I'm pulling in the metrics for all the companies. market cap. Sometimes Google Finance's market cap is wrong. I tried to fix that. It's kind of clunky though. It doesn't really work. Business, that was me trying to pull in business. Insiders, prices. I lean on historical. Oh, I don't really use it that much though. Historical Google prices. I tried to because I was trying to build a scoring system, but it gets messy. It gets messy. Dashboards where I pull in the prices, and then that's it. Then just I have them all bookmarked up there, and it's legit. It's 11:59. It's about to be the next day. I'm hanging in for an extra minute, so I'm just gonna keep talking. Think I can keep talking for another minute? Any doubters? You doubt me? So I think that's the tracker spreadsheet. That's the fundamental spreadsheet. That's the universe spreadsheet. Hopefully you'll check this out before the stream. You'd only do this if you care, right? I know most people don't care. But if you're really curious or if you do want to know more about my approach, I feel like this video is insightful. It's meandering. Don't get me wrong. And I don't know how much I'm going to edit. I'm going to be honest. I feel like I'm beat. I don't know. I feel like I'm just going to upload it as is. So I apologize for the quality in that regard, because I know you're really supposed to edit these things and cut them down for your sake. That's why I would take the time to edit stuff. But yeah. If you have questions about this, I can answer during the live stream. If you haven't seen this video, I'm probably going to point you in this direction. Like, I'm sorry how long this video is, but you should really watch it if you want to tune into the stream. I mean, the stream's 3 hours, so this is less than 3 hours, right? I hope so. It is. And so I'll point you in this direction. So hopefully you wouldn't mind watching just this video. Can you watch it at fast speed or something like that? And then, if any follow-up questions I can answer. And let me get back to the top here, and I think that's it. I'm gonna. Can I finish my beer while I'm on screen? That's it. Hope you enjoyed. If you hung in there, congratulations. You deserve a medal or an award or something. Let me know if you did watch this video. I'll give you mad props. But yeah, that's it. You have a nice night if you did decide to watch this in the evening, and I will see you on the stream. Adios.